Hello and welcome everyone. So in this video, we will look at another front-end interview problem. So this problem states that we are given a list of promises here and we need to create the polyfill of promise.any. So what promise.any is, it takes a list of promises and if any of the promise fulfills, it gives us the response of that first fulfilled promise. So let's see we have a list of these three promises. And in these three promises, we can see that the only one that fulfills, that succeeds, is the promise two. And it is the slowest promise that resolves. Because if the promise is resolves before rejects before it, this is the slowest promise. But since it fulfills, we get the value of this promise, which is two that we see in this console here. So it gives us the first response of any fulfilled promise. Like if none of the promises fulfills, it gives us an error. So if I just reject this as well and save this and rerun this, and I can see okay, it is console.log error. Yeah, so like we'll implement this, but if all of the promises gets rejected, it gives us an error. But if any of the fulfills, it gives us the response of the first fulfilled promise. So we'll try to implement this. Yeah. So let's see so since it returns a promise, this promise.any, this any polyfill that we are implementing returns a promise. So the first and foremost is I'll create a promise and I'll return that promise. And this will take resolve, reject, and here what I will do is I'll loop through the promise array. For let I equals 0, I less than promise array dot length I plus plus, and here I will check if I will what I will do is if my current promise ever fulfills, then just resolve. If my current promise that I am at ever fulfills, then just resolve because since this gives us the result of first fulfilled promise. So if my any promise gets fulfilled first, just resolve with the data of that promise. Now I'll also maintain a counter here. So rejected promises 0. I'll just do let since I'll incrementing it. Now if it fails, I'll increase my counter of rejected promises. Now what I will do when this array finishes, when this like loop finishes, like inside the cache block, what I will do is just do this, and I will check if my rejected promises is equal to promise array dot length, because if it is, then I will know that all of my promises got rejected. So at this point I'll just reject with an error, new error, all promises rejected. Now I'll just save this and rerun this and see if it works, and I can see I'm getting an error here, all promises rejected. But if I just fulfill one promise and save this and refresh this, I will say I'm getting the result of the first fulfilled promise. So this was a very basic example of implementing promise.any polyfill. Hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.